way. Because remember that today in this society, especially among the youth, they will not look to their parents when it comes to issues such as drugs. They will not look to their parents when it comes to issues such as dating and premarital sex. They will not look to issues when it comes to alcohol. They will not go and talk to their parents about it. Who are they going to talk to? They're going to speak to their young people. They're going to speak to their older brothers and sisters whom they trust. They're going to speak to the people in the youth group whom they trust. Why? Because of the generation gap that exists. If you give them, if somebody comes to you with some asking for some advice, if somebody comes to you and says, you know what should we do? How should we live our life? What should we do with all the peer pressure that we have in school, with drugs, with dating, with all of these things? How are you going to answer? Your answer is going to make a huge difference because no one else can get through to those people. They respect you because you're on their level. What kind of answer are you going to give? Think about yourself and understand that you are a role model. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you've been put in that position, and it will be your responsibility how you answer to those people. If you have children and you are parents, then understand that you are also role models for your children. Whether you think you are or you don't think so, whether they respect you a lot or they don't respect you, in one respect, you are their role model. What they see from you, they're going to end up imitating in many respects. And if you have a good behavior, a good character, and Islam inside the house, then you'll notice that your children start going towards that direction. If you're amongst those people who try to go and push your children to go do something, and you are doing the exact opposite thing, then how do you expect them to follow? How do you expect them to actually move forward in that? What you find is a lot of people, they'll do that, they'll go and tell their kids, you need to go and learn about Islam. And I get this all the time. Teach my son, teach my daughter about Islam, but what about themselves? I guarantee you the son or the daughter knows more about Islam than that person who's saying, go and teach my daughter or son. He's ignorant, she's ignorant, they don't know anything about Islam. We must really look into ourselves and ask ourselves, are we sincere? What are we doing? And there was a commercial not too long ago. It was an anti-smoking commercial. It was an anti-smoking commercial, and all it showed was one small little fact. It just showed a father outside in the balcony. He was smoking a cigarette, and it showed a son just sitting there. He was not smoking. The father did not say a word. He just smoked his cigarette, and the son was sitting there, and it said, this boy will be hooked. That's it. That was an anti-smoking commercial. Because they understood you don't need to speak. Actions speak louder than words. When people are watching what you're doing, when people can see that you're doing something, when you have a bad habit, if you're drinking in front of your children, you tell them, don't you ever drink. This is extremely bad for you, and then you go ahead and drink yourself. Think about what example are you really setting? What effect do your words actually have? You're a role model. Parents are a role model for their children, and they need to step up to that responsibility. Every husband and every wife is a role model for each other. Whether they like it or not, they're a role model for each other. And if you notice, one of the most interesting things, and one of the most interesting proofs of the messengership of Rasulullah ﷺ is the fact that his family, his own wives, were his most devoted followers. And you notice that if a person was a liar, if a person was actually insincere in their mission or in what they're doing, the first person that would know is either their husband or their wife, because nobody knows you better than your own husband and your own wife. Nobody knows your other habits and the things that you do behind closed doors better than your husband or your wife. So you're a role model for that person, for each other. And you must remember that that's a responsibility. What you do behind the closed doors, what you do to each other and with each other, and how you react and how you act is going to determine how you're going to be judged on the Day of Judgment. And lastly, every single Muslim living in this country is a role model for people of other faiths and religions. Whether they like it or not, do not think that just when you go to the airport, your name is Muhammad, and then the screen, they're zooming the video cameras on you. Yes, it happens in the airport as well. But at the same time, with regards to all the Islamophobia that exists today, every single Muslim, when someone knows that they're a Muslim, when their name is Muhammad, when their name is Aisha, the people are watching you. Whether you like it, whether they're watching you for the good or for the bad, it doesn't matter. They're watching you and they're waiting to see what type of behavior you have. And we have to be the best role models that we can be for these people, to show them what Islam really stands for, and to show them what is the real mission and message of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We must remember that, and we must remember at the same time that the reason why we're doing it, the reason why we're doing da'wah and outreach, the reason why we're going and talking to non-Muslims and educating them about all of these things has to be done through sincerity. It cannot be done only in a post-9/11 world, because right now the hammer is on our heads, because the camera is zoomed in on us, because our names are on the list, just so that we can show other people that we're good people, just so we can show them that says we should, you allow us to live in this country peacefully and safely so that we can live a nice life. No, we must have the sincerity along with that we are really trying to represent the true message of Islam in our own character and in our own conduct. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the success and give us the help to do all of these things. Ya Allah, allow us to put our excuses away and aside and take your prophets as examples in our lives. Let us not be influenced by the fools and entertainers around us, and do not allow us to take them as role models. O Allah, show us the truth as truth and motivate us to follow it. Show us the false as false and motivate us to shun it and distance ourselves from it. O Allah, help the weak and the oppressed people who are suffering in all different parts of the world. O Allah, give us the patience and the wisdom when we act. O Allah, let us look for long-term solutions and correct our nearsightedness. O Allah, remove the oppressors from power and establish justice on the face of the earth. O Allah, allow us to fix ourselves so that we may be worthy of the words that we speak. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.